I just had something so profoundly beautiful happen to me, and honestly, it was definitely one of those moments where I'm like, all right, this person's like a total angel, total angel sent to me. So I'm gonna tell y'all about what just happened, and then share a few other times that similar things have happened in the past that kind of stand out to me, where I feel like I've had strangers sending me messages at the right place at the right time. And I'm on a walk today. I'm taking a pretty long walk today because I gotta get to the pet store, and I don't have enough money to buy what I need and also take the regular bus. So I had to take this like cheaper bus that only takes me like not even halfway. But everything happens for a reason. And sorry if the camera is kind of wonky. I'm trying to like concentrate on not getting run over, but also record at the same time. And so I got on this bus, but in the wrong direction. Now, when I got on it, I was convinced I was going in the right direction until I looked at the map and I was like, wait, I'm a total dummy. I need to go in the other direction because that's way closer to where I'm going. And if I take this direction, then I'm going to end up taking twice as long to get where I'm trying to go. So I end up staying on the bus because it does a loop. So it's one bus route. It just goes in circles. So technically I was just like, well, whatever, I'll just sit on the bus for like 30, 40 minutes. Who cares? I ain't got nothing else to do. It's a nice day outside. It's not too hot, not too cold. I'm wearing my full 80s Adidas outfit. Oh, it's a nice color car, kind of matched my outfit. Anyway, so I'm on the bus, and this older gentleman gets on. And okay, listen, I'm not a super talkative person. I don't really like when people bother me to get my attention, because usually they're trying to annoy me. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to get something from me. A lot of the times, like these older people are just like, they just want attention from like a young girl, and they're like trying to flirt with me, and I'm like, sir, you're 85, please stop. So but I've outgrown that mindset, so that's not something that happens to me anymore, because that's something I've shifted away from. So that doesn't really happen anymore. I'm just saying in the past. So it's kind of made me kind of weary, you know. And so I should cross the street right here, or yeah, walk in the shade, I think, is a better idea. All right, so continuing off. So anyway, I've had these preconceptions, but they're just based on past experiences, and I've just kind of turned them into patterns in my head, right? And so I just got a really good feeling from this older gentleman. He just seemed really genuine. And he turned to me, and he's kind of sitting a little bit across it. I do have some hearing issues. I have really good hearing, but if there's like background noises, it's really hard for me to hear what the person is saying. It's just like a processing issue that I have. It's that meme of like, what did you say? And then you just keep asking, and it's the fifth what did you say, and you still have no idea what the person is saying. But he turns to me and he's like, are you a model? Now what's funny is I was just thinking about this recently, how in my past, when I first started modeling, like more than 10 years ago at this point, people would ask me that all the time, and I'd be like, I don't know, yeah, kind of. And like, sometimes my friends would be like, what the hell, girl? Like, yeah, she's a model, you know? Like, they'd be like mad that I'm being all like, whatever. And so I've learned my lesson. And I might not be actively modeling right now, but yes, I'm a model. I've spent a lot of time modeling. Just because I'm not actively doing it right now doesn't erase this profession that I had for many years, or this career or whatever. And obviously we're living in the now, and we're living in the present reality, and we're living in the reality we want. So what kind of answer would it be to say no to that question? Well, that would mean that I'm not living in my desired reality. And so, where am I? Yeah, maybe I'll go this way. And so I'm like, yeah, I am. And he does this little, he's like, yes, I knew it. And honestly, it just felt nice because already I was like, damn, that's a sign. And, you know, I'm not even like all dolled up or anything. I don't have any makeup on. I'm not really done up or anything. But this man just had this energy. He got the energy from me. And then he asked me another question. I can't hear him, so I move next to him so I could hear what he's saying. And he started asking me about music. He's like, do you know who Foreigner is? And I couldn't understand what he was saying. Now, after he started singing I Want to Know What Love Is, I was like, oh yeah, of course I know. I know that song. I love that song. And he names another song that slipped my mind. I'm sorry. That's the one I remembered the most because he repeated it a couple times, and he also told me to watch the music video, which I immediately watched after he got off the bus. And again, what's crazy is I wasn't even meant to be on the bus going in this direction. At least that's what I thought, right? And we start talking, and I'm so sorry, but I'm not 100% sure. I think his name was William, but I remember everything else he told me. I'm just not very good with names. But he was in the military. He was in the Navy for 27 years. His wife died from cancer 11 years ago, and he said ever since she passed away, it's his life's mission to make people happy, to make people smile, and that's what brings him joy. And he's born and raised in Los Angeles. He even told me what area he lives in, and he's going to a Foreigner concert. He does karaoke. He used to do a lot of karaoke. And that's why he brought up Foreigner. But he also told me the music video is really good and I should check it out. And what's funny is I love music, so he's honestly talking to the right person. And what else did he tell me about himself? Oh yeah. And then towards the end, before he got off, he goes, oh, I'm quite old. I'm not going to say how old. And then he says, my birthday's next month. And I go, no way, so is mine. I say, mine's May 20th. He says, mine's May 5th. I say, happy birthday. I forgot to say Cinco de Mayo, actually. Very cool birthday. And he's actually not the first person I met that has a May 5th birthday. I've known a lot of May babies in my life. I don't know, I just naturally attract May babies. Technically I'm a Gemini, but I have a lot of Taurus in my chart, if that matters to anyone or means anything to anyone. I don't think it really matters, to be honest, on a very serious level. But yeah, so he basically told me and taught me a few things about life. One, he said, I want to see you on a billboard so I can say I know that girl. And I said, you know what's funny is I was on a billboard 10 years ago, and I've been really thinking it's about time I do it again. And I've been talking about this in the videos. And what's funny is I have a screenshot of like things I'm manifesting And it's like my background. And the first one is I'm modeling for money. I just feel like I have some unfinished business there. You know what I mean? I have some unfinished business. It's not like modeling is my dream. It really isn't. But I feel like there's some unfinished business there that I gotta go back. I gotta finish that business and get that money. That untapped money that I left behind those many, many years ago. It's like I want to prove it to myself. Back then I was trying to prove it to other people. Now I'm trying to prove it to myself. That I could have done what I wanted to do and I still can do what I wanted to do. And I still can do it. And it doesn't have to be my life. Modeling provides all this freedom. It gives you a lot of money, but also gives you a lot of free time because it's not like a 9 to 5 where you're working constantly. You pretty much work a few times a month, you know, if you get a good deal. If you can find a gig that pays you a couple grand a day, maybe work 4 times a month, you're set. Anyway, I'm just like telling him, I'm like, what's crazy is I've been, you know, gearing up. I'm like, it's about time I get back into it and do it again. He's like, you're gonna do it. He's like, don't give up. Don't ever give up on your dreams. Dream big. Don't ever. And he's like, I'm being so serious right now. And I'm like, I know, I can tell. Because I'm sure some people, you know, would just chalk it up to like, oh, whatever. But it's like, to me, this was very, very serious. And I took it very much to heart. And I was actually just blown away by the whole interaction. And after he got off the bus, I just wanted to cry. But I can't cry publicly. It's not really my thing. Yeah, it takes a lot for me to cry publicly. I pretty much have to be completely burnt out or pushed over the edge for that to happen. So I've got to cross the street here so I don't get stuck. So the interaction was an absolute godsend, honestly. I would say I couldn't believe it even happened, but I can because it's not the first time something like this has happened to me in my life. But this one was really profound because it was so specific. It was so specific that what's in my mind was projected onto the stranger. It's like living proof that it's working, you know what I mean? And I'm telling you, it almost brought me to tears. And I sincerely hope, I know. Well, now I know. Now I know. But I guess what I do hope is that he gets to see that billboard, because I hope I get on a billboard that he can see, you know what I mean? Not a billboard, you know, somewhere in a different country or in a different place or whatever. I really want it to be a billboard that this man can see, so he can see his projection, so I can see my projection. And I do pray that we cross paths again one day. Maybe I'll take a little walk around his area one day once all my manifestations are here, just so I can have another conversation with him. It was just so beautiful. And I even told him, I was like, you know what's funny is I wasn't even supposed to be on this bus, and I've been thinking about this exact thing we're talking about, and I've been feeling like, you know, sometimes I'm the only one in my corner, so it just feels so nice to have a stranger say this to me. And you know, it's not even my only dream. It's not even my only dream. I have so many other dreams. Across the street here. So it's not the first time that's happened to me. The first one I can remember, I'm sure I've had many more, but there's a few that stand out. The first time I had something like this, some kind of experience like this, I was still in high school, and I had gone to this mall with my friend. I don't even frequent that mall because it's quite far out of my way, but it was closer to the area that she lives in. So we went to this mall. We were just hanging out in a little seating area, and this older lady came and sat down, and I wish I could remember the things she said and how the interaction went fully, but I don't. It was so long ago at this point. I was like 17 years old. I'm about to be 33, so I had this interaction, and piece of paper here. I went back across the street because I every time I see a scratcher, I pick it up because I enter for the second chance lottery, and I also just double check to make sure there's no money on it. And I saw one in the middle of the road, and I didn't pick it up the first go, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back and pick it up, because you pick up everything, right? Even a penny, because that's how you show the universe you're open to receiving. Those little free samples at grocery stores, take them, unless you're like severely allergic or something, don't take them. But so back to the story. We're sitting there, this older lady comes and talks to us. She spits some life lessons, like some serious life lessons. I wish I could remember them, but I'm sure in my subconscious they are there. And sorry if the sound sucks right now. The wind's blowing a bit. And then she gets up, she's like, all right, well, I gotta go. And my friend and I turn to each other and we're like, what the hell? That was amazing. And we turn around and she's gone. Like, I mean, there's no way. We were like, is she a ghost? Like, did we just meet a ghost? Because she disappeared up so fast. And, it's not like she was running, sprinting out the door. She just disappeared. We turned around, she disappeared. It was insane. So that was the first one that I can really remember that really stands out to me, where I had this like interaction with a stranger that was just like so beyond reason. Then I had this other one, which wasn't exactly a stranger. It was like a coworker's brother's wife. We were at some party, and I think it was after I had already gotten my first gig, my first billboard. And I think maybe I was still just kind of contemplating the idea of getting into music and getting into DJing. My ex was DJing, and I pushed his career so hard because subconsciously it's what I wanted for myself, and I guess didn't believe in myself enough, and I thought maybe if I could just push him to do it. I don't know. I don't really want to overanalyze it, because what's done is done, right? And I ended up doing it anyway and succeeding. So this, friends of a wife, she just comes up to me and she's like, you're going to be really famous soon. I don't know, I just have this feeling about you. Now, it never came to pass, or rather, it hasn't come to pass. And this was many, many years ago, over a decade ago. So depending on what soon means, and honestly, I probably got in the way. She was probably right, I probably just got in the way. She was like, no, I'm so serious, like, I just have this really strong feeling about you. Wow, this person has a very beautiful garden. It looks like something I would see in The Sims. I don't want to record it because that's just awkward, but it is very gorgeous. Has a little fountain and roses and beautiful flowers. Very magical. So that was that interaction. I don't think I ever saw that girl again. I don't know if that was before my billboard or after my billboard, but it was right around that time. So maybe I had my billboard right after that. And it wasn't just one billboard, let me be clear. It was all around the world. It was in London, Chicago, Boston. I'm sure many other places. Those are just the places I was. I had people tag me in pictures, ones that they saw. And so that was another occurrence. Then there's this one occurrence where I got a tarot reading, and actually still, I'm not in contact with the tarot reader that said this to me, but I follow her on Instagram. So I have the potential, I guess, to be in contact with her. So this is one person I could hit up at any moment and be like, oh, listen, it came to pass finally. But she said something very profound to me as well. She said, you do a lot of things, and she's like, don't worry about what other people think about it. Like, she meant like creatively, I do a lot of things. And she's like, just keep doing all of them. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what people think. Don't worry about what people say about it. Just keep doing it. And so I have, many, many years later. Another one, quite recent. I was Uber driving or delivering or whatever. I've done a lot of those different gig works, but I no longer have a car, so I can't do it. But at the time, I'm going to cross this way, I think. At the time, I was doing these deliveries, and I was delivering to... It wasn't a hotel, it was more like a residence. But it's one of those residences that's like super fancy and has like a check-in desk, and you gotta talk to the person to get to the delivery and whatever. And this man starts asking me, I don't know if he asked me if I model or if I'm an actress or whatever I'm doing. He asked me some question. And we got to talking, and he's like, you're gonna be famous. He's like, I don't remember what date he gave me. I think he said very soon, or something like that. I don't know if he gave me 6 months, whatever. I mean, this was years ago, so again, it's already, the date has come to pass, but that doesn't mean that the message is expired, rather. And he said the same thing. He was like, I'm not, I'm being serious. I'm not joking with you. I have this really strong feeling about you. You just have like this presence. And he even gave me like a premonition, I guess is what it's called. He was like, some older man will take you under his wings. I guess like, like an agent, or I don't know, whatever. And will help you like find the way or whatever. I mean, I don't necessarily agree. I don't think anyone has to help me find the way. I think I'm perfectly capable of doing something like that on my own. Should I go down this street? No, I'll just go down this street. Just trying to find a way to find like a quieter route, but I think I just have to go down this way. And yeah, he said a few things. I think he tried to I don't know, he asked me for some kind of contact information because he was going to forward me something, but it never happened. He never contacted me after that, and we never spoke again. And yeah, and he told me some story about how, I think Ryan Reynolds it was Ryan Reynolds. He was like, oh, I saw him before he was famous too, and I told my wife that guy's gonna be super famous. And I understand that because I have that ability with like musicians, like, especially when I used to be more into kind of like new music. Like Cardi B, before Bodak Yellow went big, I played Bodak Yellow at one of my DJ sets. And I'm telling you, this was like 2017 maybe. It had to be, just thinking about what length of hair I had at the time. I still had like a short, like kind of like a bob length. So it had to be 2017. And it's so funny because I always forget that I actually started doing music before that. And I always forget that it was actually 2016 that I started doing music, and then continued into 2017. That time of my life was kind of rough, so I get it mixed up a bit. I think I'm just gonna cross here. So 2017 was definitely the time. And I played Bodak Yellow, and I even had a few people come up to me. That was actually the night that Skrillex was at the venue that I was playing at. It was like this super new pop-in Hollywood play. There was like all these rumors that like Tyler the Creator and A$AP Rocky are gonna show up. They actually didn't, but I did end up running into those two many other times in many other situations, but not that night specifically. That night specifically, Skrillex was there, which was a huge deal to me because I grew up obsessed with Skrillex's music. I was like a big raver. I was big into drum and bass and dubstep and all that when I was 18. And I had seen him many times live, so it was like a huge deal for me that he was there. And it was one of the best performances of my life. And I was playing, it was like I had channeled something, because I swear I was like playing way beyond my skill level at that point. Because contrary to popular belief, there's actually a lot of skill that goes into DJing. If you don't think so, I really encourage you to try to mix two songs together flawlessly and seamlessly to where there's no break and there's no lull. And it's also a lot of psychology and being able to read the crowd, because yes, you can play songs you like and whatever, but you have to kind of understand how the crowd works. And if you notice a lull and you notice people not dancing as much or leaving the floor and whatever, it's like you have to think quickly and on your feet and think of the next song you can switch into. And then it also has to match the BPM, and it also has to match, the tempo, and it has to match the vibe. And so it's really not that easy. There are some, I would say, some genres that are easier than others, for sure. I would say the easiest genres to mix are going to be house and techno, just because they're literally built for mixing. But anyway, that's a side tangent. I am quite passionate about it. So, but anyway, I feel like it was like way beyond my skill level at the time. So it was just like, I was like, I don't even know how I'm doing this right now. Like literally I had no idea where it came from. And so all of this to say is that I played Cardi B's Bodak Yellow right before, I think maybe 6 months or so before it would become one of the biggest songs of the summer. And people had come up to me and they're like, oh my God, what song was that? That song was really good. And I was like, it's Cardi B. And then she became huge. And that used to happen to me so much with small little bands. I would go see these small little bands and then they would become massive. And I could even tell you, upon first listening of an album, I can tell you what songs will be singles. I just have a great ear for music, fantastic ear for music. Very, very large genre selection. Not every genre, obviously. I can't like every genre. There's just hundreds of them. But I do have a massive range of genres that I know a lot about. And yeah, so all this to say, I had that same feeling with musical artists, so I totally understood this man being like, I don't know, I just have a feeling when I see someone and they're gonna be famous and all that. But again, that came to pass and I kind of just put it out of my head. But I'm telling you, this was the most specific interaction I've ever had, because it's literally what I've been thinking about for the last few weeks. And it was just such a specific interaction. The timing was so specific. The fact that our birthdays are in the same month, just like all of it was just so specific and beautiful and awesome. And I feel absolutely blessed to have experienced it. So yeah, they're out there. The angels are out there, but I don't like to act like, oh, this person is just like a messenger. Like, this person is a person, you know what I mean? They have their own life. They have their own journey. We just happened to cross paths and they had a message for me, but their existence isn't being my messenger, you know what I mean? That's why I started by telling his story, because that's equally as important, if not more important, that all those things in his life led him to be the person he is today, for him to be able to be open enough in his heart to just tell a stranger something that they needed to hear that day, you know, because he could have said anything. Oh, you're a pretty young lady, you know, that's great, that's very nice, but something so specific about my dreams and about how he wants to see me on a billboard, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's about damn time I get back on a billboard, truly. And this time I'm getting paid for it, because last time I got scammed. I got scammed because I was in that mind state, and I signed all the rights away for no money. All right, I've yapped enough for this one. I don't necessarily care about the length of the videos or anything. I'm not even thinking about things like viewer retention and all this shit. Who cares, man? The right people will find the videos and listen to it if they want. And if you don't want to listen to it, then why even bother? You know what I mean? That's why I'm so happy I finally reached this mindset, because this is what I was hoping for. I think maybe a year ago I had set the intention of like, I want to get back into YouTube, but I don't want to worry about like the perception. I don't want to worry about getting numbers. I don't want to worry about what I'm putting out there. And so many different things crossed my mind after I started getting into like understanding like my neurodivergency. I thought about creating a channel centered around that, but then I was like, well, that's just like such a specific aspect of myself, and I don't want to get put into that niche, and I don't necessarily even want to get put into like a manifestation niche or whatever the hell. I just want to talk about my journey, and if people find that interesting, so be it. I do think it's interesting. I think I've experienced a lot and done a lot of things, and I think very few people are open to talking about it without worrying about the judgment and perception of others. So hell, why not? Why not share? And that's that. That's it for this video. You know what? There was actually a couple things I wanted to add. One of the things is the man that I met on the bus today, William, we'll call him. I'm almost 100% sure that was his name, but I just doubt myself a tiny bit. I'm like, maybe I just invented that name. I don't know. But he even said, he was like, not to toot my own horn, but I believe he said I'm a very special person. And I was like, damn, well, first of all, I feel that too. I feel that way about him as well. I mean, I just met him as a stranger, but he does feel like a very special person. And it just feels good hearing someone say that confidently, because it's like, well, I feel that way as well about myself, and it's just nice having this interaction with another confident human being who knows their purpose and is aligned with their purpose. Just two aligned human beings meeting. And this happens to me in small doses as well, where I'll be walking down and I see someone's outfit, right? I'm like, wow, that person's dressed really cool. But I don't have, let's say, the guts or whatever to run up to them and be like, oh, your outfit's really cool or whatever. And this happened to me many months ago. I was just walking at the mall and I saw someone out of the corner of my eye. I was like, wow, their outfit is amazing. They looked like an alien almost. And I'm like walking by, and that person stops me and goes, oh my God, you're so beautiful. And I was like, oh, that is so weird, because I was just thinking about how, like, I love your outfit and you're so beautiful. And we just had this little fleeting moment, this little special fleeting moment. And what happens is you become more aligned, those things are happening more frequently. And it's just those little things. It's like, oh, you're totally in alignment. You're at the right place at the right time. You're on the right frequency. You're attracting the right frequency. So that was the other, one thing I wanted to add. And then there was another thing I wanted to add, which was actually, I might have mentioned it in another video, but who cares? So there was an interaction online that is very similar to this interaction I just had in subject matter, rather, not exactly the same, but in subject matter. I had left a comment under Nero Knowledge's video, and it didn't even have anything to do with modeling or what I was manifesting or anything. It was just talking about, you know, I'm unemployed, I'm manifesting a job essentially, and because I'm not stressed and depressed and anxious and whatever, my mother perceives me that I don't care or whatever. And that was essentially the comment. And then a bunch of people responded and they're like, oh my God, I'm going through this exact same thing. But then there was one girl who commented that she's going through the same thing, and she left her little story about how she broke up with her significant other and this and that. But then she left a second comment, and in the second comment she said, just keep going, this stuff really works. My friend, I used to think she was delusional because she was talking about how she's going to manifest her ideal body and then become a model, and how she was going to make a ton of money modeling and this and that. And I always looked at her like she was crazy, and now she makes a ton of money modeling, and she shops at Selfridges every day, and Selfridges is like a expensive department store. It's like a UK department store. And anyway, she was just being like, you know, keep going because it works, essentially. And I was like, damn, that's really bizarre, because I've also been thinking about bringing the modeling manifestation back into my life, right? Because again, I feel like it's like something that's incomplete. It's like something that I need. I don't know, my heart is just telling me, like, even though it's not your dream and whatever, to specifically do that, it just feels like something left undone, something left unfinished. And yeah, that was the other story that I wanted to add, because I was like, that's so funny that that's happened to me twice now, once online and once in real life. And then I even caught some more good energy, because then once I got off the bus and I finished my walk and I went into the pet store and I was checking out for that specific item I needed, which was actually a better price in real life. Thankfully it came out perfectly, like with tax and everything. It came out perfectly that I was able to buy it. And I had an interaction with the cashier, and now this is like a more common interaction I get, where I get compliments on my nails or the colors I'm wearing, but it still felt really nice to get this positive energy, because my new mantra is everywhere I go, either people leave me the fuck alone if they don't have anything nice to say, or they love me and I get good energy. So that's what I'm living by now. So you either leave me the fuck alone if you have nothing nice to say, or if you want to harass me or follow me around or be weird, you leave me the fuck alone, or you give me good energy, because that's all I accept. That's all I'm accept. And then I'll give you good energy back, and because I give good energy all the time. And he complimented first my colors, my outfit. He said, oh my God, I love your outfit. I love the blue. And then he goes, oh my God, and your nails, they're so cool. And now anytime someone compliments my nails, I immediately tell them that I do my nails because I like taking the credit for my hard work. And he's like, oh, it's so cool and it matches your bag and I love the metallic with the purple. He's like, wow, they're really cool. He just kept looking at them and I was like, oh, it feels so nice. It just feels so nice getting all that good energy. And I was like, man, thank you so much. Have an amazing day. And I genuinely mean that. Just absolutely fantastic. And sometimes you can will that kind of interaction. You can literally like will that interaction. I've done it so many times where I literally get dressed or whatever and I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the bookstore or whatever, and I'm going out and I'm getting good energy today. And lo and behold, I'll be like looking at a book and someone will walk up to me like, oh my God, I love your hair, or I love your outfit, or I love your hat, or whatever. So you can literally will that into existence where I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna catch some good energy today.